Early morning update Wednesday. Good morning, Paul Lindman and Scott Lynn. Two Democrats want to be the next Attorney General in Oregon. No Republicans in the primary race. It's down to Dwight Holton, former acting U.S. Attorney, who we've talked to many times here in the morning update, and Appeals Court Judge Ellen Rosenblum. Dwight joins us this morning. You know, the legal community, Dwight, seems to be saying you're both well qualified. You'd both be a good Attorney General. So what's the race come down to in your opinion?
Well, look, we have my opponent and I have a really very different vision of what this job is. She has said over and over again that this is a job where 80% of the job is being the government's lawyer. I just don't believe that. This is the Oregon Department of Justice, and I take that word justice very seriously. We need an Attorney General who will wake up every day to go to fight for working families, to fight for vulnerable Oregonians, to fight for seniors. That's what I've done my entire career, and that's what really makes the difference in this campaign.
So you're seen as an advocacy position more than representing the government's interests.
Well, they go hand in hand, but really it's an advocacy job. That's exactly right. You want someone who's going to take on internet child predators, someone who's going to take on domestic abusers, someone who's going to fight mortgage fraud and aggressive foreclosure by banks that is really squeezing the middle class right now. Again, that's what I've spent my entire career doing as a tough federal prosecutor for the last 15 years. I've been an advocate in there fighting for people. I haven't been a referee on the sidelines.
Ellen Rosenblum has said that she's better acquainted with Oregon's courts and said, in fact, I'm not sure he's ever set foot in an Oregon courtroom. Is that fair?
I don't know why she would say that. It's simply not true. I've been practicing in Oregon for 8 years, and I've led an office of 110 employees throughout Oregon. We practice in state courts and federal courts throughout Oregon. You know, the people who practice most in state court are the Oregon district attorneys. 54 sheriffs and district attorneys in this state have weighed in on this race, and every single one of them has endorsed me.
She is playing the local roots card, though, for sure. Is that a factor? I mean, you're pretty new to this state, really.
Well, I know I've lived here 10 years. My wife and I didn't have the good fortune to be born in Oregon, but we had the good sense to move here. We're raising our kids here. Both were born. They're in public school over at Abernathy Elementary, and we're Oregonians.
One side of the coin you may have an edge is in terms of management experience. How important is being a good manager in the Attorney General's office?
Management experience is a key part of this for two reasons. One, it's a huge management undertaking. There are something like 1,290 employees, a $425 million budget. I've got that experience. I've run a statewide law enforcement agency with offices here, Portland, Eugene, and Pendleton. I've managed budgets. I've had to meet payroll. That's the kind of management experience I've had. And the reason, number two, why it's so important is you can't do that leadership role. You can't be out fighting for middle-class families. You can't be out fighting for vulnerable Oregonians and seniors if you don't know how to manage, and you have to stay at home and figure that out.
What do you say to those who note that you're the son of former Virginia Governor A. Linwood Holton and the brother-in-law to another Virginia Governor, Tim Keene, and that your sights are set much higher than on the Attorney General's office here?
You know, I'm running to be Attorney General of Oregon. That's the job that I was made to do. I just finished up 2 years as the United States Attorney for Oregon. As you mentioned, I've been a federal prosecutor for the last 15 years. What we need in this job is a tough former federal prosecutor who's going to wake up every day to go to fight for justice, to fight on behalf of the working class folks against whom the cards are all too often stacked.
You think this is going to be a close race when it comes down to it?
I know. Here's what I know. We're going to work hard and we're going to win this thing. We've got support from sheriffs, from district attorneys, from teachers, from organized labor. We're putting everybody together. We're going to work hard and we're going to win this thing.
You think this is going to be a close race?
I don't know. I can't.
Repeating the question.
We should know, too, in passing, Dwight told us this morning, we didn't know this before, you know Ann Compton, who we talk to all the time, the ABC Washington correspondent.
I do. Ann Compton's an old friend of my family's. She was a cub reporter in Roanoke, Virginia, when my father was governor of Virginia, and we got to know her back then. She's a terrific reporter. I'm so glad you guys have her all the time.
Tomorrow on the Morning Update, what Ann Compton thinks about Dwight Holton. Dwight, good luck in the campaign. We appreciate the visits, and we'll catch up with your opponent hopefully tomorrow, but thanks for the visit this morning.
Thank you so much for the time. It's a really important election.